Alright, so we're here. Welcome to the second part of this long journey of me going through each series of Modern Who. For this video, of course, going through Series 2, but of course also the Christmas Invasion. First I'll be going through the special and then Series 2. So let's straight get into this first part with Doctor Who The Christmas Invasion. This is a 60-minute special that aired on Christmas Day of 2005. This is David Tennant's first full episode as the Doctor, and it is also the first ever Christmas special for the show. It was written by the showrunner and executive producer Russell T Davies, with it being directed by James Hawes.
No sign of the Doctor.
Nothing yet.
Doctor Who, Christmas Day at 7 on BBC One.
The newly regenerated Doctor takes Rose back to her state, where he collapses in front of her, Mickey and Jackie, then put him in bed in the Tyler's flat. Mickey and Rose then go shopping, but are attacked by robot Santas using flamethrowers. They then get a taxi back to the flat where they discover an unfamiliar Christmas tree, which starts spinning razor-sharp blades. The three then shelter in the room where the Doctor is sleeping. He wakes up and destroys the tree with his sonic screwdriver. He then goes to further attack the robots, however he goes unconscious again. On Christmas morning, a Mars space probe launched by Britain is intercepted by a spaceship, which is heading to Earth. The probe's broadcast is shown to Earth, where the face of Skycorps appears. He uses his power of blunt control to take over the third of the population and threatens to make them throw themselves off buildings if the world doesn't let them become slaves. Harriet Jones, the Prime Minister, attempts to have negotiations with them, but that is where she is teleported to the spaceship, along with Alex Keane, her right-hand man, Major Blake of UNIT, and Daniel Llewellyn, the British rocket group director. Meanwhile, Rose, Mickey and Jackie take the Doctor to the TARDIS as the ship approaches London. It's then detected by the ship and is teleported there, but Jackie is left behind. Rose then buys enough time for the Doctor to recover. He then shuts down the blood control and then challenges the leader to a sword fight for Earth. The leader then cuts off his hand to where it regrows due to leftover regeneration energy. He then pretends to bow down, but goes for an attack from the behind. The Doctor then hits a button that he found, triggering a part of the wing to fold and drop the leader to his death. Then orders the rest to leave Earth and never to return. Then takes the humans back to home. As the ship then moves away, Harriet Jones orders Torchwood to destroy it. The Doctor is furious with this. He then threatens to bring down her government, but then moving on, he joins Rose, Jackie and Mickey for Christmas dinner. They then watch Harriet on TV as she then fends off rumours about her health.
Help us. Please, Doctor, help us.
This is technically the first Christmas special for the show, but the classic episode, The Feast of Stephen, was written as one, even having the first Doctor wishing the viewers Merry Christmas. Even then, the episode The Unquiet Dead in Series 1 was set on Christmas Eve of 1869. The idea of the inclusion of the robot Santas came from Davies actually finding the idea of the character being creepy in general. The inclusion of Harriet Jones is thought to make people that were more attached to the Ninth Doctor return, being Prime Minister, being mentioned in the episode World War III. This episode shared production block with the first two episodes of Series 2, with primary filming taking place between the 22nd of July to the 19th of August 2005. Additional shots were filmed in the lead up to the release between September to November, along with required CGI effects. The opening shot is a repeat of the opening shot of Rose. In an interview with BBC Radio 1 on the 23rd of December, Tennant revealed that there was a line in the script explaining that the Doctor had imprinted Rose's accent, but the line was cut from the final cut. His costume was chosen just before filming began, where they chose something much more casual and lighter because Tennant likes to play about with his costumes in what he terms as pocket acting. Even with returning, Penelope Wilton did not want Jones to be brought down at the end of the episode, but nothing in the ending was changed because of this. The reveal of Billie Piper returning for both the special and second series was at the BAFTA preview of the first series finale. Trailers for the special first appeared on the 26th of October on BBC One. A 7-minute mini-episode set between the Parting of Ways and the special was shown as part of The Children in Need on the 18th of November. Interviews with cast and crew followed up on the next month. On the 3rd of December, the annual Christmas edition of the BBC's magazine Radio Times was released, featuring a Doctor Who cover to tie in with the special. Davies later confirmed in the episode's commentary that the issue contained a hidden message explaining what saves the Doctor, many paragraphs in the article with oversized first letters which spell out a cup of tea. With Christmas 2005 being on a Sunday, this is the first episode to debut on that day of the week. It premiered on BBC America in 2007 but was edited down to fit a 1-hour time slot with ad breaks. During the original broadcast, the front page of the BBC website stated the Christmas invasion is on BBC One now. Harriet Jones says switch this website off for Britain. The official Doctor Who website also had a message from Mickey, which was an appeal to the Doctor to bring back Rose, and also had a reference to the God of War 1 website. The episode had a peak viewing audience of 9.8 million, with an average of 9.4. It was the second highest viewed programme of the evening behind EastEnders, and being the 12th time the show has appeared in the top 10 of the week. The performance of David Tennant was praised, especially with how quick he wakes up and takes control of the plot. Piper's performance was also praised for shouldering the episode. It is considered as one of the best Christmas specials of the show, with more than 7,000 readers of Radio Time voting it as the greatest one. The episode was released along with the first episode of Series 2 as a basic DVD on the 1st of May 2006. A novelisation of the special was written by Jenny T. Colgan, which included the storyline from the Children in Need special. It was released both in paperback and digitally on the 5th of April 2018.
Aha! I need your help.
Could you fly the TARDIS and save planet Earth?
I only take the best, remember? Use your remote to activate the different controls when I tell you. Right, let's go!
Press red now for a race against time. Doctor Who available on digital.
This is just a typical episode of Doctor Who from this era. It's a fun alien invasion story with plenty of humour for us to get into Tennant's portrayal of the iconic character. The only thing it realistically cuts out is the full-on dramatic element on this take of the role, which makes sense since it doesn't want to ruin us getting used to him, while also being a Christmas special too. There's still a lot of edgier moments though, with the sword fight being a very big example of that. It was fun to also see Jones once again, with them now showing a newborn rivalry between her and the Doctor, which of course also gives us our first big tease of Torchwood as well. The aliens are a little bit goofy, they're the typical villains that are way too threatening, but then are easily defeated by the hero immediately. It's overall such a solid special which introduces us to the most iconic Doctor. Now, let's get into Series 2.
Think you've seen it all? Think again. Outside those doors, we might see anything. And if you come with me, nothing will ever be the same again.
This series continues the adventures between the Doctor and Rose. They also briefly travel with Mickey and Jackie. In a similar vein to Series 1, the recurring word for series is Torchwood, which probably was a way to promote the spin-off which was released in the same year. The adventures consist of travelling to parallel Earth, facing off against the Devil Beast, and even being reunited with former companions Sarah Jane and K9. The finale has a war between the Cybermen and Daleks, which results in Bros being stuck in the parallel universe. There were also 13 TARDISodes, ranging in lengths of 40 to 55 seconds, which serve as prequels to each episode.
Can Mickey Smith, the Doctor and K9 defend themselves against the horror of the Clockwork Men? Can they escape the Cybermen? Or the blood-chilling werewolf and Krillitane? Who are the Ood, and what is the secret of the face of Bo? Doctor Who Series 2 action figures and other playsets.
From character.
I've pretty much covered everything from Tennant's casting in the Series 1 video, so I'm not going to repeat it all, but something I will mention is that he initially was concerned about the show not being renewed for a second series, so he was worried that he would end up being the guy that was cast as the Doctor for 35 seconds. Piper's decision for leaving this series was due to unexpected success of the revival, saying she didn't want to be a responsibility of being a role model, but she has returned to the show multiple times since, literally potentially being the Doctor herself now. Sean Dingwall returned for 7 episodes as an alternate version of Pete Tyler. As mentioned, both Elizabeth Sladen and John Leeson returned as their roles of Sarah Jane and K9 in the episode School Reunion. Following the episode, both were asked to reprise their roles in the spin-off series The Sarah Jane Adventures, which started the next year.
We want you to be part of an adventure
That's totally out of this galaxy.
where you can create your own world
And come face to face
with huge stars. Come on, man. Let's go. Where there's a cosmos of stuff.
About the greatest show of all time.
Join us and be part of an exclusive journey.
Into the world of the Doctor.
We're totally Doctor Who. Are you?
Starts Thursday at 5 on CBBC One. Previous time travel experience not necessary.
Production for the series began on the 1st of August 2005 and concluded on the 31st of March 2006. Drew Garler served as executive producer, with Phil Collinson serving as producer. Davies continued as executive producer and head writer. He wrote 7 episodes. New writers were Toby Whithouse, Tom McRae, Matt Jones and Matthew Graham. Returning writers were Matthew Gattis and Stephen Moffat. Stephen Fry was due to write the 11th episode but had to withdraw as he could not complete it in time. This is where Davies hired Graham, who he was trying to hire for writing on Series 3. The villain Absolve Love was created by a young channel pup who won in a Blue Peter contest. The special The Runaway Bride was supposed to be in the midway point of the series, but was moved early on and was replaced by the episode Tooth and Claw, which is something Davies was thinking about since 2004. The order of the first episodes were moved around while being written, and were finalised after the early scripts were mostly done. This was in order to find the best way to develop Doctor, especially for still confused viewers. The team learned from the first series and specific challenges they faced doing a sci-fi series. Instead of last-minute changes to reduce CGI, plots were written in mind to both these shots needing less CG. Like the first series returning to the Daleks, this series returned to the Cybermen. With this series teasing Torchwood, in the original drafts it wasn't actually revealed until the finale. This isn't strictly the first time they mention the organisation, with them appearing in the episode Bad Wolf, and it was revealed in the Alien Invasion that they possessed alien technology. It seems that the late edition of Tooth and Claw was the script that made them gradually mention the organisation in each episode. This series was directed by Hawes, Ura Lin, James Strong, Dan Zeff and Graham Harper. Harper had previously worked on Classic Who, specifically in episode The Caves of Adrasani and Revelation of the Daleks. The episode Tooth and Claw was originally meant to be filmed in Block 1 of filming, but production issues pushed it back to Block 2. A Stella Brewery was used as an upgrade in chamber in Army of Ghosts. This wonderful house I'm not even going to try and pronounce was used in the alternative world where Jackie and Pete's mansion was. Southern Down Beach was the beach that they filmed for The Doctor and Rose's Goodbye. The first 2 weeks of film in Block 4 were spent entirely filming via her, which is something. Maureen Lipman's appearance in The Idiot's Lantern was all filmed remotely in London due to scheduling conflicts. This was all done under a day. Block 6, which was the final block, was the only one to film Love and Monsters, which was directed by Zeff, which is again something. Gold once again returned to compose the music. Parts of the soundtrack were performed by BBC Orchestra Wales and were orchestrated by Ben Foster. This series premiered on the 15th of April 2006 with New Earth, and concluded after 13 episodes on the 8th of July with Doomsday. Once again, Doctor Who Confidential also aired alongside each episode. The TARDISodes were available for download to phones and viewable on the Doctor Who website. They were recorded from the 31st of January to the 8th of April 2006. Downloads to phones were less popular than expected, with around 40,000 downloads, with an average of 3,000 per episode. Downloads to personal computers were much more common, with 2.6 million. Ian Tweedle, the media editor of BBC Wales, suggested 2 reasons for the low number for mobiles. Though episodes were free, most people still had to pay an additional fee to their mobile providers, and many weren't even compatible to play on mobiles back then. I mean, this was 2006, the iPhone didn't release until a year later. In the US, the series once again aired on the Sci-Fi Channel. In Canada, it aired through the Canadian Broadcast Corporation. They even won an award for their assistance and contributions to the series. Then in France, it aired on France 4. The press launch of the series began on the 27th of March at the Wales Millennium Centre. A special trailer was produced by Red Bee Media, which included both clips from the series and special footage shot for it. Various episodes received screenings prior to their official release, including a Glasgow one for Tooth and Claw. Interviews with the cast and crew were on channels such as BBC One and ITV1. Then of course, rumours, reports and the occasional interview were put on the tabloids. Then discussions about the series, sometimes including the crew, were on Radio 1, Virgin Radio, Radio 4 and Radio Wales. The major promoter for the series, aside from the BBC channels, was their magazine, The Radio Times. They had a special edition called Doctor Who Watch, and had covers promoting the interviews through the airings. This was the first series to be released on 5 DVD volumes, with the first being released on the 1st of May 2006 and the final volume being released on the 25th of September. They were also released in Latin America 2 months after the release in Britain. The entire series was then released in a box set on the 20th of November 2006.
Peekaboo!
This series was watched by an average of 7.5 million viewers, which was slightly lower than the first. The finale was watched by 8.3 million, beating a World Cup war match between Portugal and Germany by over 1 million viewers. The highest watch was Tooth and Claw with 9.24 million, while the lowest was The Satan Pit with 6.08 million. The US release had an average rating of 1.05 million. It received positive reviews from critics. It holds a 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes with an average score of 9 out of 10, based on 8 reviews. Many consider Doomsday as the best episode, then Fear Her as the worst. One reviewers call it a fully intense of highs and lows for both the characters and plot, which is fairly spot on. Critics praised Tennant and Piper's performances and romantic tension. The use of CG, the Torchwood reveal, use of cliffhangers, the music and settings were also praised. It was nominated for 30 awards and won 12, which were for the performances, writing, costumes, makeup, editing, drama and science fiction.
They couldn't.
The new feel of the show was established pretty much straight away. The 10th Doctor is much more youthful and energetic than the 9th. Even then, much more friendlier unless you really annoy him. With the new development between the character and Rose in the first series here, he is much more flirty with her too, which obviously develops into their brief relationship, which I'm still iffy about. Like, I get him being flirty with her, but the actual relationship part I still really don't know what to think of. What I do like about it though is Rose's actual side of it though, of her being unsure of this version of the Doctor herself at the beginning and then slowly warming up to him as the series goes. I'd say that it was smart having Cassandra take over her body in the first episodes so it could really show Piper's comedic acting chops, which could also match with Tennant's. The best episodes of the series have held up really well over the years. I would say very much the 2-part stories are the best here. The 2-part of The Rise and the Cybermen and the Age of Seal serves as a great sequel to the episode of Father's Day, exploring even more of Rose's feelings to her father in what was originally established in that original story. It's also very much more of a story which establishes Tennant as the Doctor, with this being the return of the Cybermen. Rose's actual departure remains as impactful as it was then, with her confessing her love to the Doctor as he disappears is very powerful. It's not just the 2-part stories though that are great. School Reunion is a great episode, with the death of a child and the brilliant monologue from the Doctor to Lassa. Of course though, it's notable for the return of Sarah Jane. But of course there are a couple of massive blunders in this series. First is Fear Her, which in my opinion is harshly labelled as one of their worst Doctor Who episodes, but it still very much is the dullest episode from this series. I'd say the part that has aged the worst about this episode is the futuristic setting of 2012. But hey, Kill the Councilman is still in it, he's a top man. The real worst episode here is Love and Monsters. The concept of a mundane life meeting the world of the Doctor will always be cool, but this one just isn't it. You could tell Kay really tried his best here with being directed to make his role more comedic as possible, but it really shouldn't have been here, to be honest. I'd say the final few moments of the episode are strong until they make that certain joke. You could tell that the Blue Peter competition that this episode had to be written around was the thing that made the tone and really not go well. This competition should have kind of made its own special, or at least a mini episode in my opinion. The music from Gold is of course outstanding, this man always nails it, where even the weaker episodes have phenomenal soundtracks. The standout track is for sure Doomsday. Does this series improve upon the first? Yes, but no. What it very much does, it makes Tennant establish himself in the role very quickly, where the whole nation has fallen in love with him even to this day.
What's your game?
Snakes and ladders?
Alright, so that was me covering The Christmas Invasion and Doctor Who Series 2. So yeah, again, overall a mixed bag, but something that introduced probably one of the most iconic things to come from this show, which is David Tennant. And yeah, it's been really fun covering these. I'd really love to know your guys' thoughts on this part of the show. Whether that's good or bad, I like to hear varying kind of opinions. And if there's any facts about them that I've missed out, please let me know as well in the comments, and I'll make sure to pin them if there's anything that I see that's out there. Nothing else to really say. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you for the next video, which will be covering The Runaway Bride and Series 3. So, see you then.
Marceline, is it just you and me in the wreckage of the world? That must be so confusing for a little girl.